OMG BBG! Welcome back to another BBG Talks.
Yeah, this one is pretty exciting because we were reacting to a lot of your comments from our last BBG Talks where there was a reveal that Beyblade 4th generation, new Sega is pretty much in development. So
there's just so many possibilities. Yeah. Of course, we have no idea what's coming. So the main question that we asked you folks in the previous episode was, what would you like to see in the upcoming generation? That's always, the biggest question for the fan base, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are your expectations?
I feel like a lot of the Plastic Gen fans came to discuss. There's a lot of Metal Fight fans who it's like mixed camps,
Yeah.
Everybody coming together, which is pretty cool to see.
So let's dive right in. The first one that I have here is from the Porgmaster saying, I personally would love to see a Metal Fight reboot, at least in the system of customization, and hopefully backwards compatible. And though I think it may be possible, I doubt it would happen in terms of what I hope for, other than that really just something more simple than BU. I think in terms of complexity, I think GT was the perfect balance.
Ooh, so I was also seeing some comments about compatibility, having adapters that goes from Burst to Metal Fight, or using Burst drivers, or using Metal Fight drivers on Burst. There's some 3D designs that does that, but I personally feel like that will never happen because that means that Takara Tomi's gotta reproduce Metal Fight parts again or reproduce Burst parts again when the 4th gen comes out.
That's true.
So I feel like that won't happen.
It might be doable for the first bit, right? Because these type of parts are still being produced in those factories and everything, but once you're 2, 3, 4 years into the 4th generation, it's not really profitable for them to continue to make old parts, right?
Yeah, and after a couple of years, not many people will start to care about the old parts anymore because it won't be part of the competitive meta or parts that you could use in the tournaments, right?
Yeah. But that would be awesome though. Being able to have the backwards compatible feature would be awesome. Can you imagine? Let's say we're 5 years into the 4th gen, and then it's hey, I'm throwing on a Beyblade Burst Evolution part. It's 10 years ago. It's that's crazy, right? To think about that ability, that would be awesome. But it's not likely.
It also stops people from buying new parts.
That's true too.
So in the business standpoint, I don't think they would do that.
Yeah,
but it's a cool idea, and I think the fan community has already been doing that for quite some time. Because I have seen 3D designs where people are making adapters where you could use, Metal Fight parts on your Burst base.
Yeah, it'd be unreal, honestly. For the fan base, it'd be really good. But business standpoint, there's just no chance that would happen, right?
Yeah, Beyblade's gotta be way bigger if we want them to ever create original remastered base, from the previous era. But yeah,
facts.
One can dream. Okay, so I got a comment here that's somewhat similar. So Kurosaki said, well, I honestly can't wait for the new series, but I'm just hoping the new gen base would look exactly and perform like the Metal Fight base, which I grew up on and loved for 12 years. But otherwise, I can't wait for the new gen series. So sounds like there's a bunch of fans from one camp that wants to see exact copies of the previous gen in a new format.
Yeah.
Very similar to how there were Burst Metal Fight remakes, right, in this generation right now in Beyblade Burst.
They translated over the cosmetics and they tried to match the parts design and everything like that to make them compatible, make them relevant. So, it'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, but it's also I feel like it's, I don't know, I haven't looked at any sales numbers, but I feel like the remasters aren't really selling that great.
Yeah.
Because when they're in Beyblade Burst, for sure, people are all about the anime, the vaults, Beyblade Burst designs. And then when they look at a Metal Fight Bay, it's kind of oh, that's old. Why would I want to buy an old design in a new system? So, there's different opinions.
Yeah, it's true. You don't even need to really look at sales numbers. To be honest, if you just look at our view count on some of those videos, the excitement, the amount of comments, the amount of likes that are on those Burst remakes, it's nowhere near as exciting or, I would say, as popular as some of those other videos where we did, right? For example, Excalibur that we just unboxed a couple weeks ago, it's almost 200,000 views within a couple weeks, so many comments, so many likes, and then you look at a Burst remake and there's maybe 50,000 views or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Like, just not as many people are into it, right?
Yeah, not as many people appreciate it for what it is.
So those fans that basically stick with Beyblade from day one, so
the
like
true fans.
well, the ones that are lifetime fans, right? They will appreciate it, and it's a small group, right? In the big scheme of things. Versus Takara Tomy is going to make products for the masses, so I really don't think they're going to make too many remakes. But for fans like that commenter and us, like we would like to see those remakes.
So true.
So I have another comment here from Mr. Blorp saying, what I really want for the new Beyblade Gen is more fantasy stuff and a greater emphasis on customization. That or design choices closer to the Metal Fight generation. The later Burst Bay designs just felt a bit too busy to me, that's why.
Ooh, busy as in like complex? I guess kind of, right? Because when you look at DB, you got all the gears and you got like build your own from collecting other parts, and you got bays that come with parts that don't work with that bay.
Yep.
Right? Huh.
It can definitely get confusing, for sure, right?
Yeah, that's actually something I was wondering for you guys as well. Depending on when you started to like collect Beyblade and be in the community, I want to know, is it complicated when you first get into Beyblade? Because I have gotten like cases where family friends are asking me like, hey, like I just bought a new Beyblade and I don't even know how to put it together. I tried to search it on your YouTube channel, but you guys don't cover how to put the Beyblade together. And like, you have to learn how to put a Beyblade together? Like, isn't that just common sense? To me, right? But to a normal person, it is actually quite complex.
Yeah, it can
all the different parts you gotta put together, and then you gotta like twist it the right way. You got the teeth design, so like I totally get it now.
Yeah.
But
can't even imagine, like, there's just, like, that instance has come up so many times.
Yeah, and now that
can't figure it out.
BU, like BU Blade and all these other gimmicks, like, can you even, like, you learn how to do the limit break system, and then now there's, like, another BU Blade that you gotta, like, shove a different way, and it's, like, super complex. Like, is it complex? Or maybe you can figure it out, I don't know.
For us, it comes in increments, so it's not that hard, right? But, like, for a new fan, right, to dive right into BU and stuff like that, then it definitely is more complicated, right? So, yeah, I would say that this comment from Mr. Blorp, it's pretty accurate for a lot of fans, right? Like, they do mention that they're not overly keen, or they're not keen on overly intricate designs. Versus, like, for, you know, a big fan like us, right? Like, I love the intricate designs. Like, I want to be able to tweak more and more and more, right? It's like, oh, I'm changing this.
Those, like, little details that really make... like Beyblade special, right?
Yeah. Although, of course, like a lot of our videos and stuff like that are built on like illegal customizations or stock combo battles and stuff like that. But like when we are using them personally, when we're just battling for fun and all that stuff, and like admiring these bays, I want to be able to tweak it as much as I want, right?
You get to appreciate the little details and the art behind it, right?
But once again, that's tough for new fans, right? So. And for the competitive scene, it's also just makes everything so convoluted too, right? It's like, oh, I'm going to use this bay, but I'm going to use it in like this mode, which is like, you know, a mode that nobody uses or something, or it's like complicated to make. So yeah, I'd say simplifying it is good for the masses once again.
Yeah,
right.
I think that's why sometimes you gotta do a regroup and do a new generation, because then it's just like start from scratch pretty much.
I do like that Mr. Blorg mentioned that he wants more fantasy stuff, because that's something that I want to see too. Like a little bit more, right? Just something a little more juicy in the anime. So that segues pretty well into the next comment, because we're talking about how it's like hard for, you know, new fans to get into Beyblade, right? If it's too intricate and everything. So this is from Baymaster7 saying, I honestly feel that a hiatus would be a good thing before a 4th generation. So most of us don't want a hiatus because it's just like a year long or 2 years long with like nothing going on, right? Like no exciting news. It's like the brand is dead. And so for Baytubers, it's hella boring, right? And we have nothing to talk about, stuff like that. And like, it sucks to see your community slowly die down, right? But once again, having like a big reset is good for new fans and everything like that.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, but it's also pretty... It's almost like you're waiting for the old fans to die off, so that way you can introduce a new series. But I don't think that's necessary, you know?
Exactly.
So,
it's like, why do you necessarily have to let your like old fans kind of grow out of that Beyblade Burst Gen, say, for example, before you can grab the next generation of fans. It doesn't make sense.
Just do it like hybrid. Grab them while you introduce, right?
Yeah.
It's
like don't you want lifelong fans, right? Like why would you want to go on a hiatus if you don't have to, right?
Yeah.
So that's a great comment though. Like although I don't think many people will agree with that one, I can see why people would want a hiatus, right?
So the next group of comments here about the theme of older characters and possibly a multiverse or like a Beyblade verse, a Beyverse. So Faizan says here, he looked at the thumbnail and he really liked, Plastic Gen and Metal Fight and Burst for different reasons, and he would like to see them come together. It would be amazing to watch everybody come together in like one anime, pretty much. And then Legendary Beyblade Community says, Beyblade Multiverse. Now hear me out. What if there were characters from every gen that came together to fight a big villain? That's actually could be a good storyline. Like, lots of different characters coming back, but them not really referencing the previous anime kind of thing, because then they're from a different universe. Like, that could work, actually.
Yeah, like if Spider-Man can do it, why can't Beyblade? Right? They've actually done things like that even with Power Rangers. Like, I don't know if you've seen that clip or like that episode, but like they had like every single like Red Ranger and Green Ranger and all this stuff or whatever, like something like that.
Just like references.
No, they came together to fight a boss, basically. So like they very well could, right?
Yeah.
They bring back Jinga. He gets sucked in through a portal and he ends up in the Burst universe, and they have to battle against some evil dude.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those comments that are centered around that theme. Like I have a couple too, like saying Ram Squad here says, I want to see Kai, Tyson, Ray, and Max's kids blading in the 4th gen. It's like, that's a pretty interesting one. It's like the OG Bladers from first generation, they have kids, and now their kids are into Beyblade. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. There could be a lot of, like, cross-collaboration.
Yeah.
Just taking bits and pieces from different characters and designs.
Yeah.
And, like, fusing them, right? And you don't really even need to reference, like, the original, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because then you can make a little bit of changes and just use the multiverse as the excuse.
Yeah, exactly. Dark King 32 says something along the same lines, saying that they would love to see like random cameos from past gen characters and stuff. You don't even necessarily need them to have a big role too. Like you could just see Jinga walking down the street, or something like that, or like Jinga at a Bay store. When he's way older now or something. You know what I mean?
Or like
that'd be crazy.
Just like another character that looks like Jinga that's wearing the same outfit, but like different.
Yeah.
But nothing associated with Jenga at all. Like I don't know, just take bits and pieces and like that could be cool. Yeah,
that's enough already, I think, to make a lot of fans be really happy with the next anime. So that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I have one more comment, and this one's pretty good. It's talking mostly about the toys. So this is from Cake or Death, saying, I think the biggest toy trend that's really picked up since 2015 is app-enabled toys or smart toys. So my prediction for Beyblade Generation 4 would be something along those lines, where Beys connect to an app and then are able to send and receive information. Basically, Beyblades that are launched and then controlled through an app.
Okay, so like pretty much battery RC-enabled series.
Yeah, he does mention a little bit more in the comment, basically talking about how they've had RC Beyblades.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I mean, I guess the Karatomi did do a pretty good job with the electric Beys, right?
Yeah.
So
that's
maybe
not
taking
really
that a bit further.
Yeah, because electric parts are already doable, but making it app-enabled is a totally different story though, right?
Yeah.
But you have to make it app-enabled, but actually good.
Yeah.
Right? The Hasbro ones, you just like spin. Like you just literally take your smartphone, you spin in one direction, or you hit like the super move.
Well, there's two directions, actually.
Two directions. But you would usually only spin one, and you hit your avatar move or whatever, right? And then it does some crazy like spin
activation thing.
But yeah. So basically, Cake or Death is saying that they would love to see more robust and fleshed out versions of controllable Beys.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Like, is that... I have mixed feelings.
I think if they can do it well, it'd be the best thing ever. Like, my imagination when I was growing up with first-gen Beyblade was that I wish I could control my Drigger or my Dragoon like in the anime.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who doesn't want to see their Bey do exactly what they want? Like, I just think it. Okay, Drigger, go forward, and then Drigger goes forward.
I guess there's like another layer of complexity and skill involved, right? Other than just customization and launch style and things like that.
Now, obviously, to make it the level that I expect it in my head, like this pure fantasy, like go Drigger attack, and then like it actually goes. Like we're talking about crazy AI related technology. But yeah, a more robust version of that would be pretty sweet.
Okay, the last comment I have here is from Spat Gaming. He actually got 80 likes from this comment. He said, personally, I feel like Shogun's Steel, aka Zero G, was so underrated. The whole metal and crystal design made the base look flashy as hell. Yeah, interesting, because I thought everybody hated on Zero G, but I guess, you know, as time goes by, maybe Zero G was just ahead of its time, right?
I think it was just too different from regular Beyblade.
Was it just the stadium that was too different?
No, but that's the biggest thing, though, right? Like
Yeah.
the stadium that you're battling in makes such a big difference.
Mhm.
It's like going from standard type to DB stadium.
Yeah.
Like that's already such a large difference.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And especially if it doesn't perform the way that we expected it to perform, right? Like the advertisements for the DB stadium made it sound like it was going to be so beneficial for attack types and make things so much more exciting, but we find that it actually nerfs a lot of the attack types.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, I guess Zero G was just like, it was too different,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. But I wonder how the new series will be. Like, because like, it's kind of risky when it's too different. So,
Yeah. But they need to mix it up enough
yeah.
to make it
So
feel
the right balance.
different enough, yeah, from the last generation, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Beyblade 4th generation on the way. We have no idea when the release date is, but you'll obviously hear from us once we find out. The
More
news will be public eventually, right? Give it a few more months and we'll probably see a big announcement, hopefully. So that's pretty much it. Leave your comments down in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts. We'll react to them in the next BBG Talks episode. But that's pretty much it. As always, geeks out.